Okay, so the first location I've chosen to come to is the pier. The weather isn't great. We've got a little bit of a grey sky going on, but that shouldn't deter us. We should be able to find something here. Even if it's just scouting a future location shoot, I should be able to find some magic here. You can already see that there's some beautiful leading lines coming through here. And obviously one of the games that we play with photography is about arranging foreground, middle distance and distance, so we get this pleasing composition. Okay, so this location has really attracted me because of the line. At the moment we don't have huge ability to play with colour, light or shade, so really it's about leading lines, simplicity, the graphic elements here. This would present a great location for a model shoot, etc. But also we can just explore it in terms of maybe the finer details, or looking at arranging foreground, middle distance and distance. Now I've arrived with 3 primes in my bag. I've got a 24mm wide angle, a G Master lens. I've got the 55mm prime, that's a 1.8, and I've also got this 100 STF, this is a 2.8, and I'll be using this lens on a model shoot later tomorrow. Now what I'd rather do is basically walk into position to get the framing that I want. I don't need to be using zooms because I don't need to move quickly between one focal length and another. I do have time on my side to just change lens when appropriate. I'll first start off with this 100 STF. This is going to compress perspective a little bit, and this is going to give me a great ability to create some very graphic images, and I'll show you some of those as I take them. Okay, so what I'm shooting with today is Sony's A9 full frame E-mount camera, and I've got the 3 prime lenses I talked about earlier. Now I value capturing the most amount of information that I possibly can. It's one of the things that I value about the craft of photography, not just the creative aspects such as the framing, composition, etc., but also taking complete control over the gear. I don't want to lose any information, so I'm using the raw file format. And the other important thing I should mention is the part of the color management chain actually starts with the camera. Now most photographers will actually use the profiles that are given to them by the camera manufacturer. Now these are flavors of color, they're not actually accurate color. And so as I go through my imaging workflow, I'm actually going to pass on really accurate color from the camera onto my BenQ accurate color monitor. So one of the things that I've got in my bag here is, and I'll just take this out so you can see, is I don't need to bring this on location, but I thought I'd take the opportunity of showing you. This device is called an X-Rite Color Passport. I just need to take 2 photographs of this color passport in different lighting conditions, maybe sunlight, shade, or daylight and tungsten. This gives me a really accurate dual illuminant profile that really makes sure that I'm capturing absolutely faithful colors with this camera. So that when I move on to the next part of the imaging workflow, the computer and the monitor will display absolutely accurate colors. Canon often use the term color science, but there actually is no color science to this part of their workflow. If you are going to take control, you really need to take that step and create a custom profile for your individual camera. And that is the essence of color management, is we pass on the accurate color from the camera to the accurate color displayed on the monitor. One of the things that I'm trying to do here at the moment, the weather is starting to look a little bit promising, but at the moment there isn't a great deal of interest in the sky itself. And so a lot of my compositions at the moment are basically removing the sky. And one of the ways we can do this is just by trying to find a higher vantage point. We seem to be at the highest section of this pier here. And now I've found some interesting structures to look down on. Okay, so again, it's just a way of playing with the graphic design elements that we can find here, organizing them. It's very much the same as what architectural photographers will try and do, is try and create balance, symmetry, interesting leading lines. And this is what I'm trying to do here. And I found a very interesting image just by looking down at a particular section. It's actually got a little bit of color. I like the fact that most of this pier is actually monochromatic, so I'm looking for little pockets of color which will become the hero elements. As the sun finally breaks through the clouds, then we can start working with the light and shade. But at the moment I'm more interested in graphic line and shape with a little bit of color. Okay, so we've got a really graphic, simple background here. So generally what I'm also looking for is a hero element that will stand out. I do like creating very simple, uncluttered compositions, but when you do that, you do need some point of interest to lead the viewer's eye towards. And so this is turning into like a street photography exercise where I'm waiting patiently for that hero element to appear. Okay, so one of the things I've been using here is just vantage point. You don't have to stay always at the same height, i.e. standing. Just by lowering your vantage point or raising your vantage point by this high lookout will give you lots of alternative options for creating wonderful compositions. Here what I noticed by using the flip screen on the camera and getting the camera down really quite close to the ground, I've managed to isolate two characters so they've just got sky behind them, and that has changed the composition enormously. Okay, so you can take a look at that image. Need a pedestrian. I think this location offers great potential. I could probably stay here for many more hours, but we're going to move to another location. But I certainly wouldn't rule out coming back to this location when the weather changes, or maybe with a model with some very rich, vibrant colors. Because we've got such a monochromatic background, it lends itself to black and white, or just using that monochromatic background as figure ground separation. Sometimes I will use focus differential to get that figure ground separation, but sometimes I can use just the color differential also to make that figure ground separation. Okay, so let's head off to the next location and see what we can find, perhaps in a garden setting. So we've come to some beautiful Japanese gardens, and I've been making some different creative choices at this location. I've stopped using the short telephoto lens that I was using and decided to switch to this 24mm wide angle. Both of them are GM glass because I do value getting absolutely the best quality detail in camera. While I'm talking about the choice of lenses, I'd just like to talk about the BenQ monitor that I'm currently using, a color accurate monitor. And if you're wanting to get into using a color accurate monitor, which I strongly recommend, you can pick one up for less than the price of one of these prime lenses. In fact, the starting point for BenQ color accurate monitors is the same price as a kit lens for these full frame cameras. So this is something that I definitely recommend, that once you're capturing massive amounts of color and detail with the cameras, that you're seeing that beautiful color rich information and detail on a BenQ monitor. When I'm traveling light with just a few primes, and I'm obviously using a small bag here, sometimes I'll travel with an iPad Pro, sometimes with a MacBook Pro. The problem is I always avoid doing any color critical editing and sharing of those images online unless I've taken those images first back to my studio monitor, which is obviously my BenQ SW271. And the reason for that is these portable screens that we're using on these iPads and the laptops are just not really very color accurate. They don't have a very broad gamut. The contrast is too high, the brightness is usually too high, we can't see rich detail in the shadows, and so it's very difficult to edit carefully when we're not getting or seeing the true potential of what we're capturing. When we have the opportunity to record very vibrant colors, it's important to note that our cameras are more than capable of capturing your very rich colors with rich textural detail inside of those colors. Unfortunately, most entry-level monitors, and that includes such laptops, they're unable to display rich vibrant colors with rich detail. Often these monitors can only display an sRGB color gamut, and you really need the broader Adobe RGB color gamut to show you both the saturated colors and rich detail. I've got many examples in my folio where we would have to choose either saturation or detail and not have both unless we're able to work with that broader Adobe RGB color gamut. This has broad implications for a wide range of photographers. It doesn't matter whether you're recording landscapes, wildlife, portraits, you're going to encounter those very richly saturated colors. I have one example, for instance, of a parrot with beautiful red plumage, but on an sRGB gamut monitor you can only see either the color or the detail by desaturating the color. And it's only when you see those images displayed on an Adobe RGB color gamut that you can have and enjoy the best of both worlds. This also you can encounter, I've even encountered this for instance in motorcycle racing, the rich vibrant colours the motorcycle riders wear. They have rich textural detail of the leather, but if we're trying to reproduce the colour as well, on an sRGB colour gamut monitor, you're only going to see flat colour. It's almost as if those shapes are made out of extruded plastic, devoid of detail. And it's only when you see those images displayed on a rich colour gamut monitor that you can see that there is detail within those vibrant colours. As I find these good landscape type settings, what I'm often doing is moving to a wider angle lens and also stopping the aperture down to maybe f8 or f11 to build that depth of field. And typically what I'd like to do is get both foreground and distant subject matter sharp. And obviously with that pleasing arrangement is the key here for success. Okay, so we've arrived in Chinatown in Yokohama, which is the second largest Chinatown in the world apparently. And it's a busy environment, just like the gardens, but one of the things that you notice here immediately is colour. Rich saturated colours everywhere, and this is what I'm going to try and focus on at this particular location. We were here at this location late yesterday afternoon, and we had a big downpour yesterday, and that really brought the colours to life because we not only saw the colours around us but also reflected into the pavement. Now, time of day here is critical at this location. What we're waiting for is the sky, the luminance of the sky, just to get a little bit lower so the ambient lights that are on in the lanterns, etc., really start to pop. And when the colours come alive in Chinatown, they really come alive. It's okay. Okay, so we're just about to wrap up here in Chinatown in Yokohama. Now, I came here to do a street scene, but also when you do arrive at a location, there's more than just the bigger picture, the establishing shot. We've got great characters in this street, and I've been taking portraits and some of the colour and detail that make up the bigger picture. And now one smiling. Yeah. That's lovely. That's great. So we came to a temple this afternoon to do a portrait shoot. Found a beautiful location, and what I was really trying to achieve here is to get quite a dark, moody background, but get a traditionally dressed Japanese young woman dressed in a kimono to really pop from the background. So I wanted to get differential focus, but also differential lighting. I also had this idea to create a composite image where the model would appear to be handing herself the umbrella. This really worked out quite well, and one of the things that makes this workflow much easier is if you've got access to a large monitor, that you can discuss this with maybe the model, the makeup artist, the creative director and the client. And so I arrived with BenQ Accurate Color on the Go to field test this 24-inch monitor. This really makes the process of creating a visual piece of communication really easy when we can all stand around a 24-inch monitor rather than reviewing the image maybe on a smaller laptop, or even worse still, on the back of a camera. This has really been a great experience for me, and I would certainly recommend that any advertising photographer who has got to communicate with other creatives on location, this is an excellent piece of kit. And obviously, as we can see, it all packs up into this Pelican case here, so a great experience. Yep, it's great. It's good. So now we go down. No, the other way. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're coming to the end of our day's afternoon shoot here with the model on location. It's been a great experience taking the BenQ accurate colour on the go, on the road, so to speak. It's really a great thing to see BenQ thinking about the needs of commercial photographers, professionals who care about the craft, professionals who are interested in demonstrating control. If you've got a client looking over your shoulder, or an art director, they're wanting to see not only their images coming up on a large screen, high resolution, but also demonstrating accurate colour. You might be dealing with the client's specific trademark colours, and having that shown really accurately on a large screen certainly helps the process. It is a creative process amongst many creatives, the world of creative photography or commercial photography, and so having that piece of equipment on the road, not just in the studio, but very quickly can be taken on the road with the hard case, put up in the location, and that's a tool for communicating between all of the individual creatives on a specific job. So this has been a great experience, and obviously you're going to see the high resolution images that we've been capturing this afternoon.